With that down, let's move on to our fifth and final main topic today. And our fifth and final main topic today gets submitted to us by Oscar Ching, who writes, "Hey, John, huge fan of the show since 2012. Thank you so much, Oscar. We appreciate that, man. So the Hollywood Reporter reported yesterday that Taika Waititi has been approached by Lucasfilm to develop a new Star Wars film. I absolutely love this news. I love the season finale of The Mandalorian, which was directed by Waititi, and I believe a Star Wars movie directed by him could be amazing." All right, thanks a lot for saying that in, man. And listen, once people heard that Taika Waititi was even going to be involved in The Mandalorian, a lot of people started speculating about maybe the notion of him doing a Star Wars film. Then once people saw his Jojo Rabbit movie, which I think a lot of people didn't know what to make of it before it came out. And then to me, it is, by the way, the best film of the year. To me, Jojo Rabbit is the best film of the year. And what Taika Waititi did in that showed me that he was capable of things I never even thought he was capable of. But once that happened, then a lot of people started going, wow, maybe Taika Waititi for a Star Wars movie. And then once they saw like the final episode of Mandalorian, then people were really like, I think we should see him doing this. Well, the Hollywood Reporter just threw a lot of gas on that fire, because the Hollywood Reporter came out and wrote the following. They said this is an exclusive report of theirs that they're saying, and they said the following. Taika Waititi, the filmmaker behind the Oscar-nominated Jojo Rabbit and Thor Ragnarok, has been approached to develop a Star Wars movie, sources tell the Hollywood Reporter. It is unclear where things stand in those talks. It is also unclear whether the project is separate from the one being developed by Kevin Feige, with whom he has closely worked on Ragnarok, or a separate Star Wars project. So that report is coming us from the Hollywood Reporter. Rob, I'm going to tell you right now, there's nothing about this that isn't glorious to me. There's nothing about this that isn't glorious to me. Because I'll tell you what, here's the thing. Taika Waititi, up until just recently, was known as the funny guy. You look at What We Do in the Shadows, which is, guys, listen, if you have not watched What We Do in the Shadows, I'm not talking about the TV series, which apparently is also very good, but the movie, I don't know what the hell you're waiting for. You got to watch this. And yes, Thor Ragnarok took a much more humorous turn with the movie and all that kind of stuff. A lot of deep, heavy stuff happens in that movie, though, as well. Wilder people, all that kind of stuff. But I'm going to tell you right now, without spoiling anything for those of you who haven't seen Jojo Rabbit, all I got to say is the shoe scene. The shoe scene. Taika Waititi crafted, created, and directed one of the most emotionally impactful moments in all of cinema from last year. The shoe scene is something you're going to be, I believe for the next 10 years, you can be in a conversation with a film fan and just say the shoe scene, and they're going to know what you're talking about. He crafted a movie in Jojo Rabbit that did have fun and levity, but also heaviness and seriousness and emotional attachments and depth and meaning. And it was all beautiful, crafted into this incredible feature film that I believe is the best film of the year. I believe that Taika Waititi is not just a great director, Rob, who could do a Star Wars film and probably do pretty well. I believe Taika Waititi is in his DNA a perfect fit for something like Star Wars. When you look at his films and you see the various elements of adventure and action and fun and humor, with the ability to incorporate into all of that emotional elements, deeper characters, getting us empathizing with our characters and stuff like that, which he showed in spades he's able to do with Jojo Rabbit. To me, Taika Waititi is the archetype of what a near perfect director for a Star Wars movie would be. Now, I'm not getting into this whole discussion, Rob, about, I don't like talking about X director for X role, but if it's being reported that they've approached him, I'm going to tell you right now, I am all the hell for it. Yeah. I am all the hell for it. And I just don't see how what he has exhibited and the skill set and the tools he's got in his belt, I don't see anybody seeing how that's not a perfect match for something like a Star Wars movie. When you can get the heavy with the levity, when you can get the action with the drama, when you can get the fun with the heartbreak, when you get a director who can bring you all of that, And clearly, he gets the feel of the Star Wars universe, man. Because when you watch that episode of his as The Mandalorian, it was absolutely Star Wars, as much as The Mandalorian was. I think this would be fantastic. Now, I don't think, obviously, this is not in the bag. This is not locked. But if Lucasfilm has already approached him, and he's got already a very great relationship with Disney, because he gave them Thor Ragnarok. He also gave them, now that they've taken over Fox, he's given them a Best Picture nominee. Because it is Fox, right? Jojo Rabbit is Fox, which is now owned by Disney. So he's given them a Best Picture nomination.
And they could have buried this movie.
Oh, and they totally could. There were people speculating that they might bury the movie, and they didn't. I think this would be, if it works out, I think it would be tremendous. And I don't see, knowing how big of a Star Wars fan that Taika Waititi is, I don't see him passing up on this. And I think this would be a pick that almost all Star Wars fans would rally behind. Because there's been a lot of division, Rob, in the Star Wars fan universe for a couple of years now. I believe this could be a pick that not everybody, because there's no name you could mention that everybody would rally behind. But I believe this would be a name that I think most of the Star Wars fan base would rally behind. Anyway, maybe I'm being too pie in the sky optimistic about this, Rob, but you see this. What do you think about them going to Taika Waititi? Do you think this is actually going to work out, and is it a good idea?
Well, I think you nailed it on the head with your analysis. I mean, I think Taika Waititi is one of the most exciting filmmakers working today. Again, I always talk about authorship. The man has a vision, and he brings it to the fore so well. I mean, What We Do in the Shadows is one of the great, I mean, I put it up there with Shaun of the Dead as one of the great horror comedies of all time. It's such a wonderful movie, and he stars in it. And what he did with Ragnarok was great. His other New Zealand film was terrific. Will the People was great. And that had a lot of heart in it. And in a way, I mean, the guy who made that movie, making a Star Wars film, I know that there's probably a lot of people out there that might say that, maybe Taika Waititi's humor could be a little much. But, even what he did with IG-11, the voice acting that he brought, I think Taika Waititi would respect Star Wars. He's not going to go in there and turn it into something it's not. I suspect that he has a great love of Star Wars the way we all do. I'm sure he grew up with it. And I would love to see his take on the Star Wars universe, because he would be able to bring emotion and pathos and great characters. And then he would still give us, I think, the rousing entertainment and, yes, humor that is inherent in the Star Wars franchise. I think he's a perfect director, like you do as well, for this franchise. This is really exciting news. And, you don't make him part of another saga. You allow Taika Waititi to extend and create something new for the Star Wars universe we haven't seen, because whatever he cooks up, I'm sure it's going to be pretty amazing.
I agree. And so, guys, I wanted to make that the subject of today's question of the day. And that is our question of the day today is, how are you feeling about this? Do you like this idea? Here's how we put it to you guys. I asked with the question of the day, with Lucasfilm courting Taika Waititi to direct the next Star Wars film, how would you feel about him taking it? Overwhelmingly, 71.1% saying you love the idea, 24.8% of you saying it could be okay, and only 5% are saying no, they're completely against this idea, which honestly, even though I said I feel like this is a pick that could rally, that I think most Star Wars fans could rally behind, I still expected that, no, I hate the idea number to be a little bit higher, but it's only at 5.2%. So that's where it's sitting right now. We put this up just before we started the show. 3,400 of you guys have cast your votes there already. I'm going to leave this up on my Twitter, the poll open for the next 24 hours or so. So going over to my Twitter, it's simply at John Campea, and cast your vote there. And in the meantime, guys, how do you, who are watching the show live right now, feel about that? Jump down into the comment section below. Do you like the idea of Taika Waititi? Do you not? How are you feeling about it? Let us know your thoughts down below.